Good morning. We're on the record. This is Volume 1 in the videotape deposition of Deanne S. Brady in the matter of State of Washington versus LLR Incorporated et al. Cause number 19-2-02325-2 SEA for the Superior Court of the State of Washington, King County. This is noticed by the plaintiffs. The time is approximately now 9:04 a.m. on December 20th, 2019, and we are convening at 5020 Campus Drive, Newport Beach, California, 92660. My name is Craig Ellingson from Buell Real-Time Reporting, LLC, located at 1325 4th Avenue, Suite 1840, Seattle, Washington, 98101. Will counsel and all present please identify themselves for the record?
Brina Roos for the State of Washington, and here with me is my colleague Joe Kanata, and my colleague Tiffany Lee is on the phone.
And Anthony Tadaro from DLA Piper, appearing for the witness and all defendants.
Will the court reporter please swear in the witness?
Would you raise your right hand, please? You do solemnly state under penalty of perjury that the evidence you shall give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Can you please state your full name?
Deanne Stidham Brady.
And your legal name is Deanne Brady?
It
And
is.
do you sometimes go by Deanne Stidham?
Yes.
What would you prefer to I call you today?
Brady's easier, I
Okay.
guess.
Okay.
But if you say Stidham, it's okay.
Okay. Have you been deposed before?
Yes,
How many times?
once.
So you may recall this from your previous deposition, but I'm going to just go through some of the ground rules for the deposition to make sure we have a smooth day here today. I'm here to ask you today questions about a lawsuit brought by the state of Washington. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. We have a videographer who's recording our proceedings today. We also have a court reporter who's transcribing all of my questions and your answers. So there's a few things that are important for the court reporter to be able to get a clear record and record our proceedings accurately. First, we should try not to talk over each other. So I will try to wait until you're finished answering a question to ask a new question. And if you could wait until I'm done with the question to answer it, that would be helpful. We want to make sure all our answers are audible. So if, in a normal conversation, we might nod our head or say, uh-huh. Those are hard for the court reporter to transcribe. So we want to make sure we say a yes or a no or audible answers. Please let me know if you don't understand any of my questions. I'd be happy to rephrase them if any of my questions are confusing. If you answer a question, I'll assume that you did understand it. Does that sound fair?
Yes.
Okay. We'll be able to take breaks throughout the day. If you need a break, let me know. If I have a question pending, unless there's a question about whether your answer would impose on attorney-client privilege, I'll ask that you answer that question. But otherwise, we can take a breaks if you need it. You mentioned you have some back pain, so if you need to take a break for that, happy to do so.
Okay.
Do you understand all of those instructions?
I do.
Okay. And you understand you're under oath today?
Yes.
Do you know of any reasons you can't give complete and accurate testimony today?
No.
Are you currently taking any medications that would impair your ability to give accurate testimony?
No.
What did you do to prepare for today's deposition?
I spoke with my attorneys.
And without telling me what you spoke about, who was there in that meeting?
Anthony. And I apologize, I don't know his full last name. I just call him Anthony. And then our inside legal is Bill Fulrados.
Did you talk about today's deposition with anyone else?
No.
Did you review any documents?
Yes.
About how many documents did you review?
That I remember, maybe 2 or 3.
Did you review others that you don't remember?
I don't recall.
Did you review any videos?
Maybe 1 or 2.
When did you meet with your attorneys to prepare for today?
I don't recall the exact date.
About how long ago was
About
it?
a week ago.
And how long was that meeting?
couple of hours.
Are you currently employed?
Yes,
With what company?
LuLaRoe.
And which legal entity employs you?
Check to the form.
I don't understand.
Is it LLR Inc. that employs you?
I am not sure.
What's your title with LuLaRoe?
It varies, but I think I am president of the company with my husband, Mark Stidham.
So co-president?
Yes,
Are you also co-CEO?
I don't know.
And have you been co-president with your husband since the company was founded?
Yes,
Have you had any other titles since the company was founded?
I am sure I have. I don't know all of them. I'm not big on titles.
What are your responsibilities with LuLaRoe?
I like to work with the retailers. I enjoy being able to give them advice and encourage those that need encouraging. And I work on designing products so that they fit a female's body properly. And I work on sizing and seeking out ways to find better products, fabrics.
Have those always been your responsibilities?
Yes,
Have you ever had any other responsibilities with the company?
I am sure I have, but I don't know specifically.
How are you currently compensated?
I don't know.
Do you receive a paycheck?
Yes,
And what is your salary?
I don't know.
Do you receive any bonuses?
No,
Do you personally sell any of the LuLaRoe clothing?
no.
What is your office?
What is my office?
Where is your office?
It's in Corona.
And what's the address of the building?
I don't know. In fact, yesterday somebody asked me the address and I had to walk in and ask someone, what is the address here? So
Do you know what street it's on?
it's on, it's Temescal Canyon Road.
And do you have a physical office in that building?
Yes,
And what's in your physical office?
a couch, pictures on the walls of my grandchildren and family, my desk, a computer.
Is the computer a desktop or a laptop?
Desk.
Do you have a laptop?
No,
Do you keep any paper files in your office?
not that I know of.
Do you have an office phone?
Yes,
Do you have an assistant?
yes.
And who's your assistant?
His name is Jonathan
What's his last name?
Parr.
And what are Jonathan's responsibilities?
To run errands for me.
Personal errands?
Yes,
Does he have any responsibilities with respect to LuLaRoe?
no. Not that I know of.
Do you have any other assistants?
No.
Who at the company reports to you?
I would say just Jonathan.
Do you use an email account?
Yes.
And what is your LuLaRoe email address? Do you use any personal email addresses for LuLaRoe business?
No.
Is anyone other than you authorized to use your LuLaRoe email account?
Not that I know of.
Does anyone else have the password?
No.
Do you have a cell phone that you use for LuLaRoe business?
It's my personal cell phone.
Do you use it to communicate with retailers?
Yes.
And what's the phone number for that? Is that the only cell phone you have?
Yes.
Do you use social media?
Yes.
What types of social media do you use?
Instagram.
And under what name is your Instagram account? Do you use Facebook?
No. I click on it because it's connected, but I don't go on Facebook.
What do you mean you click on it?
Well, it says, where else would you like to share? And so I figure it's two places at the same time. So I link it to Facebook. So when I post it, it goes there too. I would assume. I don't know because I don't do Facebook.
But you do have a Facebook. Do you use Twitter?
No.
Vimeo?
Nope.
Periscope?
Nope.
Have you ever used Periscope?
I think years ago when they first came out with it.
Do you still have a Periscope account?
I have no idea.
Do you use any other social media?
No.
What's your typical work week? Do you work Monday through Friday?
Yes.
What hours?
Just depends on when I get there and when I leave to go home.
What are your typical hours?
Like 10, between 10 and 11, and between 4 and 5.
What do you do in a typical day?
Oh, there's not a typical day. It just depends on what I need and who needs me.
Who are the people who most often need you?
Maybe Mark, one of my kids.
And what types of things do they ask you to do?
Mom, are you coming to the dance recital? What should I buy Dad for Christmas?
What about LuLaRoe related things?
No.
No, okay. In a typical work day, how much time do you spend on email?
Oh, maybe 3 minutes?
So not much time.
No.
What about social media?
I would say the same.
In a typical work day, how much time do you spend on the phone?
Maybe an hour.
And is that on talking on the phone or texting?
Could be both.
And then how much time do you spend in meetings in a typical day?
Just depends on the day. Maybe an hour. Maybe maximum 2.
In a typical day, how much time do you spend in your office versus other locations?
Maybe 4 to 6 hours.
In your office?
Yes.
So what are you doing during that time when you're not on email, social media, or on the phone?
Talking to the employees, talking about what they're doing in their photographing, having conversations with various departments while they're there, answering their questions.
You said what they're doing in their photographing. Is that photographing of the
Yes.
LuLaRoe clothes? And what departments do you interact with the most?
I would say sales and marketing and styling. That's pretty much it.
Who do you interact with from sales and marketing?
My son Kenny, and his supervisor is, I don't even know who he reports to. I have no idea.
Is there someone else from sales and marketing that you interact with other than Kenny?
No.
And who do you interact with most from styling?
There's a whole team. So it's various people.
And who are those people?
One girl's name is Megan. And Caitlin. I don't even know Caitlin's last name. Tish. And some of the girls that work underneath her. They'll come up and ask me questions. But usually it's like twice a month.
And other than those folks from styling and Kenny, who else who works for LuLaRoe do you regularly interact with?
Not very many.
I'm going to assume Mark's in the group.
No.
Oh,
You don't interact with Mark?
Not unless he happens to show up upstairs in my office area, but
Does he work in the same location as
no.
you?
Sorry.
When you do work on your computer, where do you store files?
I don't work on my computer very often.
Do you ever?
Rarely.
When you do, where do you store files?
I have no idea.
Do you ever work from home?
Rarely.
When you do, where do you work from?
Probably in my bed.
Do you have an office at home?
No.
Do you have a laptop at home?
No.
So when you work from home, is that on your phone?
Yes.
And that's the same phone number you mentioned earlier.
Yes.
You said earlier that you have been deposed before. In what case was that?
With my dyer.
And how long ago was that deposition?
I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months ago.
Have you ever testified in court?
No.
What is LuLaRoe's business?
It's pretty broad. That's a broad question.
Well, how would you describe it?
I would describe it as a business opportunity for men and women to be able to work at their own hours and also keep the career that they have, or they can work their business from home.
And when you say work their own business, what type of business is that?
They buy clothing and they sell it. They resell it.
And LuLaRoe manufactures those clothes?
Yes.
What type of clothes?
Shirts, tops, skirts, dresses, duster vests, long cardigans, short cardigans, denim jackets, denim jeans. I mean,
All women's clothes?
yes. Well, no. No, we have a handful of men's styles.
Do you have any children's styles?
Not anymore.
You did at one point.
Yes, we did.
When did you first start selling clothing under the brand name LuLaRoe?
May 2013.
And at that time you were personally selling?
Yes.
And they were maxi skirts, I understand.
Yes.
When did you start asking others to sell LuLaRoe clothing for you?
Object to the form.
I never asked anyone.
At some point, you had others selling LuLaRoe, correct?
Yes.
When did that start?
I would say November 2013.
And how did you go about having others sell the clothing?
I just mentioned it when they said they would like to sell also and be able to make some money from home and be able to stay at home with their children. And then I told them, why don't you sell LuLaRoe?
And at that time, did you set up sort of a territory-based system?
Not me.
Who set that up?
I don't know.
Was there a territory-based system?
I think so in the beginning.
So under that system, someone would be assigned a particular territory, and that would be their responsibility?
They would decide. We never decided.
Would the territories overlap at all?
I couldn't answer that question.
And who set up that structure?
Nobody did.
How did it develop then?
They asked if they could have, let's say one of our first retailers were from southern Utah, and they asked if I take care of this area, would that be okay? I said, sure.
At that time, did you have a contract with your retailers?
I believe so, but I did not ever see them.
Who handled the contract?
I don't know.
Did Mark handle the contract?
I don't know.
And at some point, did that structure change?
Which structure?
The territory structure.
Well, because they invited their friends, because the friends saw what they were doing and wanted to be a part of it, and it became more natural to invite their neighbors and let them be a part of it also. That's my understanding. There was no formality.
I understand currently there's different ranks of, well, let me back up. You've mentioned retailers. Are you referring to independent fashion retailers?
Yes.
Okay. And at some point earlier on, they were also called fashion consultants, correct?
Yes.
Do you recall when that changed?
No.
Do you recall why?
No.
Who changed the name?
I don't recall.
And there's currently various different ranks of the retailers, correct?
Yes,
So there's sponsors, trainers, coach, mentors.
yes.
When did those ranks develop?
I don't recall.
Do you recall when LuLaRoe LLR Inc. was founded?
No,
Do you recall how long after you started selling skirts that those ranks developed?
no.
Who developed the ranks?
Mark and I,
And why did you develop the ranks?
to give them certain responsibilities.
So what is a sponsor?
Someone, IFR, that signs up another person to help them and guide them in their business.
And the person they signed up would be referred to as their downline?
Yes,
Can any IFR become a sponsor?
yes,
Has that always been the case?
yes.
And what is a trainer?
A trainer is someone that trains a group of sponsors that are underneath them.
How does one become a trainer?
By choosing to oversee, I believe they have 3 sponsors, and that becomes their group underneath them so that they can then start training them.
So a trainer has 3 retailers in their downline?
Yes,
Object, I think you meant sponsors. They could have more retailers.
yes, they
You
can
said-
have more retailers.
Oh, but they have 3 sponsors.
Yes.
Okay, got it. And what is a coach?
Someone that coaches trainers and sponsors.
How does one become a coach?
To be honest, I don't know.
Do they need to have a certain number of trainers underneath them?
Yes.
You don't know the number.
No.
Has that number varied over time?
No.
And what is a mentor?
I do know a mentor has 3 coaches and 3 trainers. And they are to mentor those fashion retailers underneath them.
Do retailers have any expectations to maintain their status with LuLaRoe?
I do not know.
Do they have to meet any minimum ordering?
I believe they do, but I don't know the exact.
Has that changed over time?
I don't remember.
Is the minimum ordering the same for every rank?
I don't know.
How many retailers does LuLaRoe currently have?
I do not know.
Do you know a ballpark?
Nope.
Do you know how many mentors there currently are?
Over 40?
Do you know how many coaches there currently are?
No.
At one point, I believe there's a rink called Leader. Does that sound familiar?
No.
I've heard of something called teams of retailers. Do you know what that is?
People that have groups of retailers underneath them, I would assume.
So team is sometimes used to refer to someone's downline.
Yes.
Some retailers name their teams, is that right?
I don't know.
Have you ever heard of retailers naming their teams?
I'm sure I've heard them, but we don't take any part in that.
For example, I've heard of the team LuLaRoe. Have you heard of that?
Mm-mm.
So does LuLaRoe set any requirements to call something a team?
No.
Is it possible to buy clothes directly from LuLaRoe?
If you are a retailer,
So if I wanted to buy some clothes just for my own personal use, I would have to become a retailer to buy it directly from LuLaRoe?
yes.
Why is LuLaRoe set up like that?
I
Check
don't
to the
know.
form.
You don't know? As the president, you don't know?
Check to the form. The question's vague.
Why doesn't LuLaRoe sell directly to consumers?
I don't know.
As the president, you don't know why LuLaRoe doesn't sell directly to consumers?
No.
How does someone become a retailer?
They would either reach out to the person that they are interested in becoming a part of their group and reach out to them.
So the sponsor?
Yes.
So to become a retailer, you must be sponsored by a current retailer.
Yes.
To become a retailer, does one have to make an initial investment in inventory?
Yes.
And what is that investment?
$499 for 65 pieces.
And I understand that investment has changed over time.
Yes.
When did it last change?
End of October.
What was it before that?
I don't recall because there was a change and I don't know when it was.
Do you recall why it changed?
Because you no longer needed as much inventory because people were not doing in-home pop-ups the way it was originally designed. And people are able to be way more efficient selling live on their preferred platforms.
So let me make sure we're on the same page with some of those terms. What is a pop-up?
Well, that's not a term I ever used, but when I did pop-ups, when I did parties, I called them skirt parties. You would take your merchandise and plan a party with a friend or a referral, and you would take your merchandise, set up racks, and they would invite their friends, and then you would hold a sale, meaning people could come and buy merchandise and take it home. No catalog, no ordering. So then,
go ahead.
then over time it changed because people were way more efficient. and they could then found out about instant, doing live sales.
So going back to the pop-ups, is it fair to say a pop-up is sort of a temporary sale in someone's home or some other location that's sort of temporary, a certain set amount of time where you'll be there selling clothes?
Yes.
Okay. That's what you said, like a party.
Yes.
Okay. And then you say selling live. What is that?
I don't know exactly, but I can guess because I've never done it before.
When you say selling live, are you referring to selling on some sort of social media platform,
Yes.
such as Facebook Live?
Yes.
Okay. When someone becomes a retailer and makes that initial investment in inventory and gets those 65 pieces, or sometime in the past it was more, do they get anything else from LuLaRoe with that package?
No.
Have they ever received any sort of onboarding kit with any physical materials to help use in sales?
In the very beginning, yes.
What was in that?
I don't know exactly, but I think there were fabric swatches and sizing clips that go on the racks, and some maybe information to help them get ideas on how to improve their business.
And what format would that information be?
It came in a box.
Like a pamphlet or a binder material?
Yes.
Did they ever get any written flyers or materials to hand out to customers or potential people they wanted to sponsor?
They created them themselves, and maybe they reached out to LuLaRoe. I have no idea.
And at one point, I understand there was a consignment program if you wanted to sign up.
Yes.
How did that work?
In the beginning, we had women that couldn't get started. There was no financial ability to get started, so we helped them out by letting them have product, and they paid us back within a very short period of time. I think it was, they most often would do it anywhere as a week after they got their merchandise.
So they would most often pay it off within a week?
Oh, well, a lot of them did. Some of them took longer.
When did LuLaRoe get rid of the consignment program?
I don't know.
Why did they get rid of it?
I think it's because people were not as honest as we hoped them to be.
What do you mean by that?
They didn't pay.
They didn't pay the company back?
Right. Is what I understand.
How many people didn't pay the company back?
I have no idea.
Was it a large portion?
No.
Is there a waiting period to become a retailer?
Now?
Yeah.
No, but I understand there's a process for them to go through, to watch videos and talk to their sponsor and make sure they have all the information before they get their first initial order.
What videos do they watch?
I have no idea.
Who develops those videos?
I would assume our video team.
Who's on the video team?
There's a group of them, and I don't know all their names.
Who's in charge of the video team?
I don't know.
Do you know the name of anyone on the video team?
Well, it was Mikey, but he's gone.
Mikey who?
I don't know. I don't have contact with that department.
Who's responsible for that department?
It varies. I have no idea who's in charge now.
You mentioned watching videos and talking to the sponsor. Is there anything else involved in the current process for becoming an IFR?
I do not know. Sure.
Yeah.
They said the pink drink is amazing. I don't know. I don't drink coffee, so. You did? Oh my gosh.
I did that for you.
Well, you asked. Can I take my jacket off? Sorry, it's that part of moving around. I cross my arms because it feels comfortable to open up my back.
Yeah.
Did you need me to try to find you a pillow?
I found a Mimi in the back of my car. Old little poncho. Okay.
So we were talking about that process of signing up to become an IFR. How long does that process take?
It all depends on their ability and their desire. Some people, I understand, can do it quickly, and some are more methodically.
Now, at one point, was there a waiting period to become an IFR?
I believe so.
And that was referred to as the queue?
Yes.
When did that first start, the development of the queue?
I could not tell you.
Is there no longer a queue?
Not that I know of.
When did sort of the process of having a queue stop?
I think I can't answer. I don't know.
Was it years ago, months ago?
I would say well over a year ago.
And why did it stop?
I don't know.
Do you know how long a period of time there was a queue?
No.
When there was a queue, how long was that queue in terms of a waiting period for an IFR?
Check to the form.
I don't know.
Did you ever hear how long the wait was?
I'm sure I did, but I don't remember exact.
When there was a queue, how many retailers would LuLaRoe onboard in a day?
I have no idea.
Why was there a queue?
I have no idea.
Who decided that there should be a queue?
I don't think that I have any idea who that is.
Was it Mark?
No.
How are retailers compensated?
They buy wholesale and they sell retail. That's the number one.
Do they also give it?
And if they have a team,
And if they have a team, how are they compensated?
there's a percentage.
What do you mean there's a percentage?
They get a percentage off of their sales.
A percentage of the sales of their team?
Nope, their personal sales.
And that's referred to as their leadership bonus?
Yes.
So the leadership bonus is based on a percentage of a person's individual sales.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of the leadership pool?
No. Well, I've heard of it, but I have no idea what it is, the percentages. I don't know the details.
When retailers have questions about the leadership pool, who do they go to?
Object to the form. Foundation.
I don't know.
Do retailers ever ask you questions about the leadership pool?
Not that I know of. They know I'm not going to answer them, so
How do you know that they know?
because
You're not
when
gonna
they've
answer them.
asked, I say I don't know.
The bonus, you said it's a percentage of personal sales.
Yes.
How is that calculated?
I have only heard of the frontline direct sponsors get 5% of their sponsors that sell a certain amount, and I don't know what that amount is.
So they get 5% of the sales of the people that they've sponsored.
Yes.
So it's-
Personal, that they personally sponsored.
So when you say personal sales, you mean the people they personally sponsor?
Yes.
Okay. And how are those sales calculated?
I don't know.
Are they based off of retail sales or wholesale sales?
Retail. No. I'm not going to answer that. I don't know that answer.
I'll just add an objection vague as to time. I think she's asking about now, but I'm not certain.
I am currently asking now.
I don't know.
You don't know how
I
they're
don't know.
calculated? At one point, were they calculated off of wholesale
I think
sales?
I would assume it's wholesale, because we don't know what they, sometimes I would hope that they give mom items or an auntie, and I have no idea what they do.
So you don't have any way to track retail sales?
Me personally, I'm sure I do, but I don't look at it. I don't have a clue how to look at it and dissect it.
And you said you assume that the bonus is based on wholesale sales?
Check to the form, it states.
Is that what
I
you
would
said?
assume, I don't know.
Whose idea was it to have the sort of leadership bonus program?
Mark?
Why was it created?
Because I was overwhelmed.
What do you mean?
I couldn't do it all. I was training, and I was so overwhelmed.
You were training retailers?
Yes.
And how did the leadership bonus program help that?
Well, my thought was that if they were going to help me and eliminate the stress off of my shoulders, that they would do all the training from what I was training them. Do you know, it's kind of like that. Pay it forward. And we thought it would be nice to give them a little bit extra so that they could take that stress off of my shoulders.
Do you recall when the program was created?
No.
Was it years ago?
Yes.
We were talking earlier about the territorial-based system when you first started having others sell LuLaRoe clothing. Was there any sort of commission-based compensation under that system?
No.
How were retailers compensated then?
I would assume the way they are compensated today.
With the leadership bonus?
Yes.
Do retailers receive any sort of commission for bringing on more people in their downline?
No.
Is that 102? You've been handed what's been marked as Exhibit 102. I'll give you a moment to take a look at that. So for the record, this is LLR-WA 00007938, which is an email as well as an attachment, which is Bates number 7939. Have you seen this email before?
I don't recall.
It looks like if you look at the top, it's an email dated June 13th, 2016 from Terrell Transtrom to a number of people, including Deanne Stidham. Is that you?
Yes.
So your email at LuLaRoe email address shows up as Deanne Stidham?
I don't know.
Okay. And it looks to be an email from Terrell Transtrom, and he addresses it Deanne, and that is you?
Yes.
And you don't recall getting this email?
I get a lot of emails.
Who is Terrell Transtrom?
He was a gentleman that came in to help us get organized.
What do you mean get organized?
He had some experience, is my understanding, in the direct selling industry.
Do you recall when he was hired?
No,
Was he hired directly, or was he a contractor?
I do not know that.
Was he engaged through any sort of company?
Not that I know of.
Have you ever heard of Service Quest?
I've heard of it.
Was he associated with Service Quest?
I don't know exactly.
And in this email, he says, I can imagine the big challenge ahead for Martha to learn everybody's faces and names. Do you know who Martha is?
Yes.
Who is Martha?
She is a woman that had some experience 20 years prior and I knew she was a woman that was good with people and efficient and understood this type of business, I think. I mean, she's
What's Martha's last name?
Hafen.
And was she taking over some sort of role in the company?
Just inside the business. And then
What was her role?
I don't think she had a role. She moves around.
You could turn to the page, let's see, first the page that ends in the Bates number 7940 at the bottom, which looks to be a document called Consultant Support Organization Chart, June 13th, 2016. And you can flip to the next page, Bates numbered 7941. There's an org chart. Have you seen this before?
No.
At the top it says Deanne Stidham, President, Consultant Support. Do you know what that means?
I am supporting the consultants.
We spoke earlier about your role. Is that another term for your role?
Yes, could be. I'm not big on names, or titles, I meant.
And then underneath it shows a number of people. The first, it says open vacancy call center. Do you know what that refers to?
No.
Does LuLaRoe have a call center? Or did
Yes,
it in
we-
2016?
Yes.
What does the call center do?
I have no idea. They answer calls.
Calls from who?
Various people, from computer support to, do you want to buy more paper? We can set up a copy machine for you. We can get you an ice machine. I would assume they're just the people that answer the phones.
Do they answer the phones from retailers?
I do not know.
The next line is, I think it says Bree Spillman. Who is Bree Spillman?
She's just a girl that was working for us.
It says help desk and analytics. Was that her role in 2016?
Well, to be honest with you, I know nothing about this page, and I don't know what Terrell was putting together. That's what he took on himself.
Does that sound right that she was working on help desk and analytics?
I have no idea. I was not on her calls. I did not pay attention.
Did she ever report to you?
No.
Who is Alexis Gielen? The next.
Yes, she
squirrel.
does work for us.
And what is her role?
It's not that.
It's not training and development?
No.
Did she ever have a role in training and development?
I have no idea. Honestly, I don't know what they all did. That was under, that, like you said, it would be under Terrell. He took on things that made decisions.
What type of decisions did Terrell make?
I do not know exactly, but he's no longer with us.
When he was with you, what kind of decisions was he making?
Well, he made decisions without approvals. I do know that because people got hired. Oh, sorry, I touched that. I didn't mean to. He made decisions that, and hired people. I remembered that, but I don't know exactly. You know, I let people do what they do.
What decisions do you recall him making without approval?
I don't know.
You said he hired people without approval?
Well, I remember him giving Bree and Megan Alvarez salaries that Mark and I did not approve on.
Why didn't you approve those salaries?
He just did it without our approval, hired them. They were quite high salaries, but we didn't have an HR person at the time.
Do you recall any other decisions that Terrell made without your approval?
I don't recall exacts.
What areas was he hired to consult on?
I honestly don't know.
Was consultant support one of the areas he was hired to help with?
I recall, yes.
How long did he work for the company?
2 years, maybe? I don't know.
And when did that relationship end?
I have no idea when.
And why did he stop working for the company?
I don't know exactly.
Whose decision was it?
It was probably a decision from other people, not myself. I don't know.
Was it Terrell's decision?
No.
Was it Mark's decision?
I don't know. I can't speak for Mark.
We were talking about consultant consultant support, and you said that could be another term for your role with the company. In what ways does LuLaRoe support its consultants?
I would think those videos that they put together, they've received information and suggestions from other IFRs to get ideas on what we can do to show support.
What are those suggestions?
I don't know.
How does LuLaRoe receive suggestions from its retailers?
I would think they could email and they can call in.
Do retailers ever give you suggestions directly?
I'm sure they do.
What suggestions have you received directly?
I don't remember.
You mentioned videos. Are there any other ways that LuLaRoe currently provides trainings to retailers or prospective retailers?
We do trainings out in various cities where they come together and can learn from each other.
Any other ways that LuLaRoe puts on trainings?
They have a leadership training for people that would like to improve their businesses.
Improve businesses by building their downline?
Coming together, getting inspiration, learning how-tos from each other.
What kind of how-tos?
I don't know.
Any
How
other?
to be more efficient, how to better time management, how to get more out of your assistant, nanny, I don't know, how to do your dishes faster.
Any other ways that LuLaRoe currently provides training?
We do a convention once a year.
Does the location of that convention change?
Yes. Well, no, it hasn't.
Where is it located?
Right now it's in Southern California.
When is it usually held?
July.
Any other ways that LuLaRoe currently provides training?
That's it. I forgot, we have weekly calls.
Weekly calls for IFRs?
Yes.
Is that for all IFRs regardless of rank?
Yes.
Probably at a good spot for a break. Take a few minutes.
Okay. That'd be
Off the record,
nice
the
to my
time is
back.
10:07 a.m.
Can you tell me how many minutes?
Take this off.